Hello, dear students. So, sometimes we interchangeably use the terms such as growth, maturation, and development. So, are these terms alike, or is there any differences between them? So, today we'll dive deeply into it. Let's discuss about the differences between growth, maturation, and development. Let's move on. As you can see here, the development means a progressive series of changes that occur as a result of maturation and experiences. So, development primarily implies the qualitative change than quantitative change. So, over a period of time, if we are focusing or if it is meant any quantitative changes, then it is called the growth. For example, the baby is growing in size, the baby is growing in weight. So we can quantify or measure those changes. So that kind of changes which is quantitative in nature is meant by growth. Okay. When it comes to development, it is qualitative in nature. That means the sitting, the crawling, the standing, these are all some structural as well as functional changes, but it is not quantitative, it is qualitative. So, such qualitative changes are known as development. So, development is a complex process of integrating many structures and functions. So, two essentially opposite process in the development, it takes place simultaneously throughout life. That is, one is growth or evolution, and the other one is decline or involution. That is, if we are looking into the old age people, their organs or the vital functions may start decline. So that phase is known as declination or involution. So two opposite processes are there: growth and or evolution, and a decline or involution. Okay, so both these processes, growth as well as decline, actually begin at conception and end at death. In the early years, growth predominates as early as embryonic life. The later part of life, atrophy, that is deterioration, or what we say declination of function, predominates. So, though growth does not stop, hair continues to grow and cells continue to be replaced. Now we'll have a look on a comparison between growth and development. So as we have discussed, change in the physical or physiological structure, which is more quantitative in nature, is known as growth, whereas change in the function and the activities of the different organs, which is qualitative in nature, is meant by development. So growth is external and development is internal. And the main point is growth stops at particular stage, whereas development is continuous process. So at the age of 21 or in late early onset of adulthood, what happens is that this growth stops but then development continues. Okay, that is the major difference. Then another thing is growth can be directly measured, whereas the development cannot be directly measured. Okay, then growth stops at maturity and development goes on into senility. So now we'll discuss about what is maturity. So when this growth and develop is at its peak point over a particular age period, that is, for example, when the growth and development is at the peak during the early onset of adolescence, we call it is the child or the individual is mature. That means growth as well as development is in its full mode or the peak mode pertaining to that particular age period. So now let's have a look on this graph. So let's look at the first graph. From the birth onwards, growth and development starts to occur. So after a particular period of time, that is, let's say the maturity is most visible during adolescence. After adolescence, that is onset of adulthood. So growth as well as development is in peak. So we have discussed that after a particular period, that is young adulthood stage, this growth declines or it stops. So let's see in this graph that after that particular time, both the growth and development is at its peak, that is the peak of this graph, and after that point it starts to decline to death. Okay, so let's look into the second graph, which is a human life cycle. So first is infant, child, adolescent, adult. After that you can see a straight line going upwards. No, so it is, that line is known as development. So you can see after that adult age period, the development continues to go up. That means it is ongoing, it is an ongoing progressive process, whereas growth is declining. So the human being is never static. From conception to death, change is constantly taking place in physical as well as psychological capacities. A maturing organism undergoes continued and progressive changes in response to experiential conditions and thus result in a complex network of interaction. Often the pattern of change resembles a bell-shaped curve, rising abruptly at the childhood and then flattening out during the middle years, only to decline slowly or abruptly in old age. So it is important to recognize that at no time can this pattern be represented by a straight line. So yeah, now I hope the concepts are clear for you. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask. I'll come back with another video. Stay tuned.